Greetings everybody and welcome back to some Bond Geek Talks About with me, your host, the name Stevens, Henry Stevens. Everybody, how'd you do? Hope you're all well, hope you're enjoying a good Bond film, a good Bond book, a good Bond video game, a good James Bond, whatever makes you part of this glorious fandom that is the James Bond franchise. Everybody, how do you do? And today, we're going to be discussing, I think, a great list here of what I think could be potential future Bond directors. Well, a little less what I think would be some great, interesting Bond directors. But before we get into that, everybody, can we just do my little bit of house cleaning here? Can I ask everybody, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, why not click that subscribe button and the notification bell icon to see future updates and videos? And also, everybody, right down below, give this video a like, give me your comments, tell me your list of potential Bond directors that you would love to see, because I really would love to discuss them with you, everybody. It would be so great. But anyway, as I say, this is going to be a extra long episode where we're going to discuss potential Bond directors, everybody. I've got a massive list, literally. I'm going to show you right now. Well, you can't really see on the thing, but literally on my phone, I've got a massive list. So I will be going to that list quite a bit in this video. But you know what, everybody? These are just some of the people that interest me to potentially direct a Bond film. I'd love to see these people direct a Bond film. I think it'll be really, really cool. And I just want to share them with you. And we're going to start right off the bat with one I think a lot of people talk about a lot. And that is Christopher Nolan. Now, we all know, I think, why we think Christopher Nolan might be a great Bond director. I think we all admit that and accept that. His works in, say, Dunkirk, the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, Insomnia, Memento, Interstellar, recently Tenet, I think, showing he could do a spy film, has really gives him a lot of, like, people would love to see him do a James Bond film. And pre-2020, I would have been, yep, absolutely 100%. But I'm not going to lie now, I have a little bit of a panic when it comes to Christopher Nolan anymore. I'm not saying he couldn't do it, but be honest, with his obsession with playing around with what we can hear, what we can't hear and stuff, as long as you say to him, look, Chris, you can do whatever you want, just make sure the sound is audible, then I'll be okay. I don't want to watch another film again, having to put the subtitles on just so I can hear what they're saying. Yes, I'm looking at you, Tenet, even though I love Tenet. Really recommend Tenet. And carrying on from that, another name that gets really passed around a lot, I think, is Denis Villeneuve, sorry. Again, really terrific director. Blade Runner 2049, some consider maybe even better than the original Blade Runner, potentially. But, you know, Prisoners, Arrival, he's currently got Dune in the pipeline. He's very much actually said, I want to direct a Bond film, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to see him do it as well. I'd love to see Denis Villeneuve direct a Bond film. Hopefully one day that could really happen. Just look at his previous work like I just mentioned. I mean, they're great. I really do. I think, yeah, just Denis Villeneuve or Christopher Nolan, if they were announced to direct Bond 26, I think that would just be utterly amazing. But we're going to go on to some slightly odd choices here to direct a Bond film, and I'll give you my reasons why I'd like to see him do. Now, the first, I'm a big Marvel fan, okay? I'm not going to lie. I love the MCU. Who doesn't really these days, apart from sort of non-fans of comic book movies, which is perfectly okay. But to me, after the success of his horror film and Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad looks amazing, yep, you guessed it, I'd love to see James Gunn direct a Bond film. And I'll tell you why. He just has the ability to tell great stories. If you look at all of James Gunn's movies, he just has these amazing stories in them. And for me, I'd love someone like that directing a Bond film. I also think his style works. I can't wait to see Suicide Squad. I think it'll be a much more sort of darker film with his humour. And I think that will prove to a lot of people, yes, James Gunn could potentially direct a James Bond film. But I'm purely basing him off just pure his ability to tell great stories and his script writing abilities. James Gunn for a future Bond director. That's got my vote, people, absolutely. I'm going to carry on with the MCU a bit here. Now, I'm not going to lie, this one is going to be like, this one's more like, oh, it'd just be so fun just to see him do a Bond film. I don't really think this would be an absolute very serious choice from me, but I'd love to see it anyway, everybody. But that's Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is a great filmmaker. Obviously, I learned about him properly through Hunt for the Wilderness People, and then Thor Ragnarok, and recently Jojo Rabbit, one of my favourite films of 2020. I love Jojo Rabbit. His ability to tell sort of funny, sort of, you know, happy-go-lucky thing with a real dark, twisted side to it as well. Taika Waititi is a great filmmaker, and at the end of the day, don't we want great filmmakers directing James Bond films? And Can you just say, guys, hello, my name's James Bond, Agent 007, but you can call me James. I have a license to kill. I use that a lot, but I do love the ladies, eh? Sorry for the very bad impersonation of Taika Waititi there, but Korg. But yeah, I'm honestly, Taika Waititi as a Bond director. That, I bet, has got a lot of you thinking. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about that. But that's a little bit of a male fest at the moment. Let's talk about some great female directors here, because I hope very soon we do get our first female director directing a James Bond film. And to me, right off the bat, you got to talk about Patty Jenkins. You got to talk about Patty Jenkins. Amazing filmography work. Wonder Woman sensational. Wonder Woman 1984, maybe not as good as Wonder Woman 1. Subverted my expectations, but gave me something, to be honest, I sort of actually still enjoyed, just not as good as the first one. And I really like her work, and I like her style. I think she'd be amazing as a Bond director. Wouldn't you? I'm excited that she's going to do a Star Wars Rogue Squadron movie. Top Gun in Star Wars world. Patty Jenkins directing. Why would she not direct a potential future Bond film? I think she'd be terrific in it, based on the film work. I think she's got a great style, great sense of storytelling. You're going to hear that a lot. The directors I pick are basically those who are really great storytellers. But carrying on from that, what about our recent Oscar winner Chloe Zhao? I've seen Nomadland on Disney Plus. It's a terrific film. I think the Eternals trailer has certainly got me interested. This one maybe I don't know that much of, but I'm really excited to see what she gets going in this. I'm sorry, I think this is going to be a really interesting choice. Hopefully Chloe Zhao, fingers crossed, or Patty Jenkins do get to direct something. I did used to have originally on my list Susan Bayer, who directed The Night Manager, but she hasn't really done anything as I've found recently, so I didn't really feel fair to put her on the list. But yeah, definitely, I tell you what, definitely one of those two, please, in the future, along with my other choices. These are such great directors. We'll be so lucky, I think, in the Bond series if any of them do it. But next one is one of my personal favourite choices, just because I'm a fan of this person as an actor and as a director, storyteller. It's Sir Kenneth Branagh. I adore Sir Kenneth Branagh on stage, on screen, or behind the camera. He's just amazing. Wouldn't he be fantastic to direct a Bond film? Heck, even star in a Bond film as well. Just why has this man not been given a Bond film yet? He is probably, of all the choices I have on this list, my number one choice. I really want to direct a Bond film. I'd love, like, Bond 26 directed by Sir Kenneth Branagh. To me, that's just a winner. Absolutely, 100% there. Going off slight piece here, but very famously comedian turned director, did 2 great horror films. What about Jordan Peele? I mean, let's face it, his craftsmanship of storytelling and film is terrific, isn't it? I think it was. Certainly, I loved Get Out. It was amazing. I think Us is a bit underrated, not as good as Get Out. But based on that purely alone, if you were say to me that he was going to direct a Bond film, oh, just take my money. Take my money. I will take my money with all these directors, if I'm absolutely honest with you. But I think that would be, I'd love to see that, potentially. I think he's got a great sense of story, a great sense of pacing, where to put the camera. He's really good, Jordan Peele, at knowing where to put the camera and how to hold on to a shot. So put that talent behind a James Bond film. Just please, oh God, please, wouldn't that be utterly amazing? And following on from that, another one of my favourite directors, even though he did recently have a bit of misfire, Cats. Tom Hooper, director of The King's Speech, Les Miserables, The Danish Girl, Invictus. His filmography, I think, explains perfectly why I want him to be a future Bond film director. He's just, again, an obvious choice, I think, to potentially direct a Bond film. But if you disagree with me, comment down below. Tell me what you think. Let's get these suggestions going. Maybe I haven't said one you like yet. But let's just go through what I've said at the moment. Just going to get my list up again. You've got Christopher Nolan, I think an obvious choice. Denis Villeneuve, another obvious choice. James Gunn, potentially. Taika Waititi, Patty Jenkins, Chloe Zhao, Sir Kenneth Branagh, Jordan Peele, Tom Hooper. Some great choices there, everybody. And this is now coming up to the first 10 minutes. I've still got tons more to do, just moving up my list. Here we go. Right. Here's another one of potential I think might be a good Bond director. Jon Favreau. Again, Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Elf, Zufura. Yes, he did do Cowboys and Aliens. There's a bit of a Bond connection there, you know it. But hey, what about Jon Favreau as a film director? He's really good at telling story, keeping everything very realistic. He builds up great tension. I think Jon Favreau would be terrific as a Bond director. I can't think of a good reason why not. If you don't think it'd be a great idea for a Bond director, comment down below. But let's get back to old Blighty here, because I am English and I want to give some more shout outs to some English people. I think an obvious one a lot of people might be thinking about is obviously the director of the Cornetto trilogy and Baby Driver, Edgar Wright. To me, that's just like, duh. Why not Edgar Wright? Edgar Wright is obviously should direct a Bond film. I hear a lot of people also talk about Matthew Vaughn, who obviously does Kingsman, but he does Kingsman. But no, Edgar Wright, I think, would be a terrific Bond director, and his filmography says it all. That's really all I've got to say about Edgar Wright, really. Going back to America again, so I'm picking a lot of Americans here. I do have quite a few English people on here, some Americans. Matt Reeves. Obviously Cloverfield, then did obviously Dawn and War of the Planet of the Apes. And, now he's doing The Batman with Robert Pattinson. So looking forward to that, by the way. Can you imagine his talent behind a Bond film? Tell me honestly right now, Bond fans, you would not be excited about the potential hearing like Bond 26 or 7 directed by Matt Reeves. If you're lying, then fair. If that doesn't excite you, sorry, fair enough. But for me, it's like, oh my god, I would love to hear that news. I would so love to hear that news. Keeping with the British people again, it hasn't done that much, but I really like Duncan Jones as a potential Bond director. This is purely based on Warcraft. Because I really like Warcraft at the beginning. I thought it was a great film. I think he also did Moon, which was really good. I might be wrong with that. It'd be very embarrassing if I am. But Duncan Jones is a potential Bond director, everybody. Just to think on that one as well. This one, I have to admit, people might go 100% absolutely, Henry, you're on the ball. Or some people might say you have completely, beyond belief, Henry, lost the point here. Plot. But George Miller, obviously famous for the Mad Max film series. I would love to see a Mad Max director, George Miller, direct a Bond film. His great sense of story and pacing and style is in there. I think it would be a very interesting James Bond film, very unique and different. Again, great storyteller like so many others. I think it would be really, really interesting. Would you like to see a George Miller directed James Bond film? Comment down below. Tell me what you think. Next on my list here is obviously director of Ford v Ferrari and Logan and currently Indiana Jones 5, James Mangold. Again, his way of telling great stories and drama and real building up a pace and tension really says it all for me. I'd love to see James Mangold direct a Bond film. What I like about the chances of James Mangold, weird enough, is I think he's one of those directors Bond producers Barbara and Michael would go for. He's not like utter A-list, but he's not completely unknown, and he might be really interesting to do it. Do you like the idea of James Mangold? Tell me more. But I'm going to go to really big leads again here, and an obvious one for me. And some of you might be saying no or yes, but just hear me on this. But my heart would sing with 1,000 joy of moons if I was to hear Peter Jackson was directing a James Bond film. Yes, the man behind The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and King Kong, and The Lonely Bones, and half of the Adventures of Tintin. The idea of Peter Jackson directing a Bond film, I mean, come on, would you not be excited about that? Again, his filmography and his style says it all. Definitely Peter Jackson as a future Bond director. I would get so excited about that. So let's go through this list again, a bit more adding on. We've talked about Jon Favreau, Edgar Wright, Joe Wright. I didn't talk about Joe Wright. I missed Joe Wright. We're going to talk about Joe Wright here and now. Joe Wright, obviously as well, director of things like Darkest Hour, Pan, which wasn't particularly good, but he's done some other great films over the time. Joe Wright, never underestimate him, which I did there. Very, very bad Henry. But definitely consider Joe Wright as a future Bond director. But as I say, you also got Matt Reeves, Duncan Jones, George Miller, James Mangold, and Peter Jackson. And we've also, here's another one, a bit of interest, Gareth Edwards. Now, some of you might not know Gareth Edwards that well. Me, I'm very much a fan of his work, and I think it'd be very interesting to see him direct a James Bond film. Again, it's more like such in the what ifs at the moment, isn't it? But I'm just going to move up my list again, everybody, because we're nearing the end of it now. But never underestimate Gareth Edwards. Here's another one that might be an odd choice, but I really find interesting. Ben Wheatley. Obviously, if you know Ben Wheatley's filmography, you might think, but he's trying to do a bit more mainstream stuff at the moment with his sensibilities, and I was very upset that he wasn't going to do Tomb Raider 2, but hey, he's doing Meg 2, so I can't complain. But come on, a great British talent, him directing a Bond film. Oh yes, just utterly, utterly beautiful. I think he'll make a very interesting James Bond film. That's why I want to see it. Another name of interest for here is Alfonso Cuarón, obviously director of Prisoner of Azkaban and Gravity and Roma, that came out, the Netflix big Oscar nominated one. Really great filmmaker, great style, great visual stuff. Can you imagine him doing a James Bond film? I can. Can you imagine it being interesting and unique and different and really something that would stand out? Hell yes. So yeah, definitely Alfonso Cuarón. Here's one that I'm surprised hasn't directed a Bond film yet, and I hope one day will. Ridley Scott. I'm not gonna lie, I'm an unabashed obsession a bit with the films of Ridley Scott. I love Ridley Scott as a film director. I think he's absolutely terrific. His filmography speaks for itself. Just imagine him with his visual sense and his epicness doing a James Bond film. I think that'd be brilliant. Let's talk about another female director I think should definitely have a go at it. Sofia Coppola. I love her films. I think she's really incredibly talented. I always get excited when her new film comes out, whenever it is. And I think, again, let's get some female directors in the Bond series now. We need some female directors, okay? There's these amazing, great directors, both male and female, that need... Do you know what? No, scratch that. Every single person on my list should be directing a Bond film. I've got enough to get to Bond 50 now, people. Let's do it. But definitely, yeah, Sofia Coppola, everybody, without a shadow of a doubt. What about Ryan Coogler? Again, I think really great director. Creed and Black Panther, obviously. Can you imagine him doing a Bond film? I'd get excited about that. Fair enough. A name that was going to direct Bond 25, Danny Boyle. You know what? Might not have been right for the time, but let's see this Danny Boyle Bond film come to life. Let's see what it was. Let him do another Bond film down the line. Bring this story to life and let's see it. I'd be down for that. Come on, Danny Boyle directing a Bond film. Just mwah, excellent. But we have now the last name on my list. Female director again. Greta Gerwig. I saw Little Women. I think she was terrific. So yeah, based on that purely, let's her direct a Bond film. I think she's a truly great director on the rise, and she would be great for James Bond. But everybody, breath now. That is my list of potential Bond film directors. I'm going to go through the whole list again with you, everybody, again on my phone. You got Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, James Gunn, Taika Waititi, Patty Jenkins, Chloe Zhao, Kenneth Branagh, Jordan Peele, Tom Hooper, Jon Favreau, Edgar Wright, Joe Wright, Matt Reeves, Duncan Jones, George Miller, James Mangold, Peter Jackson, Gareth Edwards. Yes, I'm doing it in a tune. Ben Wheatley, Alfonso Cuarón, Ridley Scott, Sofia Coppola, Ryan Coogler, Danny Boyle, and Greta Gerwig. There! We got through the list, everybody. Look at my hair. It's sweaty from going through that list, but it is such a worthy list. But I want to know, everybody, do you like my list of potential Bond directors? Do you not? I want to know. Comment down below and tell me what you feel. As always, everybody, my name's Henry Stevens, and this has been some Bond Geek Talks About. Goodbye.